a loud crash. So I ran outside and saw that my car had been decimated.
And you all had been drinking?
Yes.
She was not allowed to touch that car. She took it without my permission.
I don't care. You're her mother. This innocent victim has to have a donkey to pin the tail on. And you're it.
This is Judy Justice. Uzuri Shubin is suing Maribel Herrera for car damages after her 17-year-old daughter's friend crashed into Uzuri's vehicle.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, everyone.
Hello, Judge. Case number 1140, Shubin versus Herrera.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Shubin, I'm going to start with you very briefly.
Okay.
Because my reading of the case, as far as I'm concerned, you know very little about what happened in this case, except that you parked your car on the street and went into your house.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell you how? Yes.
Yeah.
Because she can't take down. Mm-hmm. You don't know what happened with your car, except that it was destroyed while parked.
Exactly.
Right. And tell me when this happened.
So it happened tentatively at 11:45 p.m. on August 29th.
Of this year.
Yes.
Were you sleeping?
I was sleeping. I heard a loud crash, and it was over in the direction in which I had parked my car. So I ran outside, pantsless, no shoes, went over without my phone too, and saw that my car had been decimated. I actually have photos if you'd like to see those.
I would.
Okay. Here you go. So when I went over there, okay. I also have a video of the car crash as well.
You do?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Here. You can just press play.
What year, model, make of this car was it?
So my car is a Jeep Liberty '06 Limited. I also have a photo of what it looked like prior to this incident.
When did you purchase the car, Miss Shubin?
I purchased it around December of 2018.
Do you recall the purchase price of the car?
So I purchased it for $5,360, and I have a photo of what it looked like prior
Okay, can we
to it
see it,
being run
please?
into.
Also have video.
I see the video. Okay, thank you.
It was immaculate.
Let me see your head.
So my neighbor recorded. Okay.
Oh no, you bleed bad, boo. You bleed bad. Oh. Wow. Hide bottles. She's bleeding a lot. Sit down, mama. Sit down, sit down, sit down. Let me see your face. Yeah. You too. Man, you guys.
No, I don't care.
So I'm finna call. I'm finna cut this off. You guys, look. I'm finna call the ambulance, okay?
Okay, and the car was totaled.
Yes. That was the determination of the auto body shop.
Now, Miss Herrera, you weren't there
I was not.
on the evening of August 29th, but you own the car, that you are the titled owner of the car
Okay.
that hit her car. That would be a yes.
I actually am not.
Who is?
The car was given to my daughter as a gift for her to move around because she just had a baby.
Miss Herrera,
Yes,
where's the title to the car?
I have it here.
I'd like to see it.
Your Honor, I do have
Shh, don't speak. Who is this person? Who owns the car?
my daughter's in-laws purchased the vehicle from that person.
Just a second. These people are the... Somebody bought your daughter a present. Let me understand this. Somebody bought your daughter, who's how old?
She is 17 now.
Somebody bought your daughter a present who was 17. What month and year did they buy her the present?
I believe it was August.
What date?
I can't recall right now, but I believe it was August, the beginning of August of 2021.
Why didn't they transfer title?
I did do that online.
Oh, well, then let me see. Let me see the paperwork if you're doing it online. Just a second. Let me see the paperwork if you're doing it online.
I have paperwork that says that she is the insured on the vehicle.
Yes,
I'd like to see it.
that is the DMV.
I'd like to see the paperwork she did online, and I'd like to see that. So what,
insurance.
you're telling me these people, you did in fact change the title,
Yes,
and you changed the title and insured the car in whose name?
my name.
That's what I asked you.
But I was trying to explain, Your Honor, that when I did the paperwork online, when I switched over the title to my name, everything went through. I have the emails there of everything that I did online, the receipts and everything. But at the end of the day, they did not put it under my name because I still owed a fee.
It's yours, and you had insurance on it, and you filled out the paperwork, and you swore in the paperwork that the car was yours, and it was being gifted to you because it couldn't be gifted to a minor.
Right.
Right. Okay, now I don't have to see anything. Return that to everybody.
Also, I have the paper that...
No, didn't ask you anything. So far, we understand each other. You're her daughter? Yes. Your father's family gave you this car?
No, my fiance's grandparents.
Now I'm leaving you, Miss Shubin, for a moment.
Okay.
And I'm going to try the two of you stand up. Because it's true that your mother wasn't there on the night of August 29th when you had the car.
Correct.
Right. And you're 17.
Yes.
And you have a child.
Yes, Your Honor.
How old is that child?
He is now 5 months. He will be 6 months this month.
He's 5 months old. And you live with your mother.
No, Your Honor.
Who do you live with?
I live on my own, Your Honor.
Where does the father of this child live?
He's incarcerated at the moment, Your Honor.
So, he lives in a state facility.
Yes.
For what?
Honestly, I don't really have too much information on it.
When did he go to a state facility?
From what I've known, he was arrested on September 29th.
Prior to September 29th, when he went to jail, who was he living with?
He was living on his own, Your Honor.
Did he have a new girlfriend?
No.
So this is what I gather from what your mother wrote in the answer to why she's not responsible for the damage to Miss Shubin's car. And she had to have gotten this story from somebody, and I assume she got it from you and your friend whose name is Jasmine. Sometime on August 29th, your son was visiting with his father. This is what the story your mother tells me is. Is that true? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
Okay. Who told your mother that story?
I think she misunderstood.
No. Who told your mother that story? Because she swore to it here. She said, and it all sounded odd to me, that her son was with his father for the night. She had to get that from you. So that was a lie. Yes or no?
Yes.
She got a call that there was a domestic dispute at her father's house. So that was a lie.
Yes.
So Violet, that would be you,
Yes.
needed to get there quickly. So all that you now understand, Miss Herrera, is a lie.
That was
Here, just
not-
a second. That's what your daughter says she told you, and that's what you wrote in the answer, in your sworn answer. I'm going to read what you wrote in your sworn answer.
Okay.
You say, on August 29th, Violet was hanging out with her friends. Her son was with his father for the night. She got a call that there was a drove over to her son's father's house and brought her friend Jasmine with her. That's what you wrote. I mean, I'm not psychotic. I didn't make up the story. I didn't pull it out of the air. I didn't pull it out of my shoe. You already have an irresponsible daughter. She's 17 years old. She has a 6-month-old child. The boyfriend that she decided to make this baby with at age 15 and a half is now in prison.
Uzuri Shubin is suing Maribel Herrera for car damages after her 17-year-old daughter's friend crashed into Uzuri's vehicle.
Yeah, that's what you wrote. So if you wrote that, either you made it up, Miss Herrera, or your daughter told you that story. So only two answers. Don't give me any other answer. That's your daughter told you what happened, or you made up that story. Which one is it?
Someone wrote it wrong because I did not say that.
Well, your daughter just said to me that that's what she told you.
No, that I'm
Just
sorry.
a second. Just a second. No. Would you read that back for me, please? Maybe I'm mistaken. I said to her, did you tell your mother?
You asked her who told your mother that story. She said, I think she misunderstood. You said, who told your mother that story because she swore to it. So was that a lie, yes or no? Answer, yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to come to you. Your mother wasn't there. Don't play with papers. Your mother wasn't there on the 29th of August. So, just a little bit of background on you. What do you do? Do you work? Do you go to school?
No, Your Honor, I do go to school.
What school do you go to?
I go to charter high school.
Who takes care of your son?
My father does, or my fiance's aunts take care of my son while I'm at school.
Your fiance's in jail.
Yes,
Who takes care of your son?
I do.
Who does he live with?
He lives with me, Your Honor.
When did you move out of your mother's house?
I believe it was sometime in May, but I don't have an exact date for you, Your Honor.
What was the reason you moved out of your mother's house?
My family's household, there was just a lot of people, and now that we had a baby, it was just we kind of wanted our own space.
Who's the we?
Me and my fiance.
How old is he?
He's 20, Your Honor.
Is this the first time he's been incarcerated?
Yes.
Tell me what happened on the 29th.
What had happened was I
at
went
me.
out. At the moment, me and my fiance were separated.
Okay, and he was living someplace else.
Yes. And I went out because I was just having an emotional roller coaster. And I went out with my friends. We were...
That's Jasmine.
Yes.
Where did you go? Went to the area where the crash happened. And?
And right there, that's when we started drinking a little bit. Then it was around 11:40, where I got a call from a relative that was taking care of my son and saying...
What relative that was taking care of your son?
It was my fiance's cousin. And I had a call. She called me saying that I needed to come pick up my son. And there was other acquaintances with me. And
Who was with you?
there was just two other acquaintances.
Who?
I honestly don't really know them. It was just kind of,
Were they in the car with you?
Yes, they were.
In addition to Jasmine?
Yes.
Were these two people that you had picked up at a bar?
No.
Where were you doing your drinking?
It was by across the street from a graveyard.
So in the car?
Yes.
So the alcohol was in the car?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Who brought the alcohol?
It was one of the acquaintances, Your Honor.
That was a male acquaintance.
I believe so, yes.
What do you mean you believe so, yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that one of the male acquaintances that I saw in this video who was all bloody?
Yes.
I'm listening.
And after I got that call, I went to go pick up my son, and the other acquaintances were not getting in my car because at this time that I got the call, we were already outside. And I told them, like, let's go. I need to go pick up my son. I'm going to take you guys home, and I need to go get my son. Nobody really listened, so I just got Jasmine, and I told her that I am going to trust you. I'm gonna go get my son. I'm gonna stay there because...
Just a second. So you were going to, at midnight, go to your boyfriend's cousin's house. You were babysitting for your son.
Yes.
And you were going to stay at the house.
Yes.
Instead of going home.
Yes.
So you let Jasmine, you gave her the keys to your car.
Yes.
And you all had been drinking.
Yes.
And one of the boys stayed in the car with Jasmine. Or did she go back? Did you go back, Jasmine, to pick him up?
I went back to go pick them up.
So she went to the cousin's house. She got dropped off. Either you drove or she drove. You picked up one of the boys from where the graveyard, where they were drinking in a graveyard. And then you were driving?
Yes.
And you crashed into her car.
Full speed, probably like 60 miles per hour.
And you crashed into her car.
Yes.
After you crashed into the car, did you stay at the scene?
I had left.
That's either a yes or a no.
No.
You took off with the boy in the car.
Yes.
And you left and took off with the boy in the car because there were a whole bunch of liquor bottles in the car.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what she says. She had a or a no.
Yes.
What happened to your car?
It was towed from the place. I did call the police that night.
Just a sec. What happened to your car? Was it
towed.
fixed?
No,
Wasn't fixed.
was not. It was totaled.
Did the insurance pay you for the car?
No, Your Honor.
Did you put in a claim?
I did.
And what happened with that
They
claim?
denied it.
What did you tell the insurance company? Because the insurance company didn't pay her.
I don't.
Just a second, the insurance that you had on the car didn't pay her. Do you know why?
Yes.
Why?
Because I did not know at the time until 2 days
No.
later that the policy of my insurance had expired or was terminated on the 29th because my full payment didn't go through, so it was denied.
You paid $5,360 for this car 3 years ago.
Yes.
Did you get another car?
Not yet. I'm still looking, but yeah.
Great. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,360. Let me tell you this.
Your Honor.
I understand you want emotional distress. Everybody
Well, no, just the car rental. That would be nice too, because I really do want to rebuild my vehicle, and the auto body shop estimated that it would be about $7,000.
Right, $5,360.
Your Honor, sorry.
Down. What I'm telling you is this. You already have an irresponsible daughter. She's 17 years old. She has a 6-month-old child. The boyfriend that she decided to make this baby with at age 15 and a half is now in prison. You gave her the wherewithal to drive this car. You filled out the paperwork and you evidently got insurance under your name.
But she was not allowed to touch that car. She took it without my permission.
Uzuri Shubin has accused Maribel Herrera's 17-year-old daughter and her friend of crashing into her parked car while drinking and driving.
Okay, you let her drive a car. You're her mother. You let her drive a car. You did the paperwork putting your name on the title. If her fiance's grandparents decide to give her a car, let them put it in their name. Say, I don't want to have any part of this. My daughter is irresponsible. She's demonstrated she's irresponsible. She's demonstrated by her history and certainly going out with underage people and drinking in a graveyard and then turning the car keys over to somebody who is under the influence of alcohol. I would say that I have an irresponsible child. Just a second. And if you didn't want to be held responsible for enough to have the responsibility of a car, you put the car in your name and you get the insurance. And you say that to the people who gave her the car. You don't put it in your name. She has to have somebody to say, make me whole. She's not going to do it. Jasmine, who drove drunk because she's a minor. Your daughter's not going to do it. She can't take care of herself. She makes bad judgments and she has no money. You're the grown-up. You gave her the wherewithal to drive this car. Yes, you did. You filled out the paperwork and you evidently got insurance under your name. Under your name.
Correct.
Correct.
But she was not allowed to touch that car. She took it without my permission.
Madam, you gave her the ability to drive that car. You put it in your name and you insured it. And this innocent victim has to have a donkey to pin the tail on. She can't say, well, it's not this one's fault, she's a minor. It's not that one's fault because of this. She has to have somebody. And you're it. It didn't have to be you. It could have been the people that gave her the car. Said, I'll put it in my name and I'll insure it. Grandma and grandpa of this incarcerated father. They could have said, I'll put it in my name. I want her to have a car to get back and forth. And would have been fine. Then you wouldn't be standing there. You helped her. You're the grown-up in the room. 5360. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished.
Court is adjourned.
I do admit that my daughter was irresponsible for what she did.
I really do love my car and I took such good care of it. So for it to end up in the condition that it's in now, it just sucks so bad.
A green Camry ran me off the road and I tried to make a right and that's when I crashed.
It was catastrophic. It sounded like an explosion. That's why it woke me up.
Right now I'm just not responsible enough to have a car of my own.
I'm thankful that my car was there because the velocity in which they hit my car, if they would have hit the building behind it, they possibly wouldn't be here anymore.
I'm glad that I wasn't in the car nor my son was in the car.
I appreciate her just understanding that I am the victim in this situation and it's just been hectic and crazy and I'm just thankful to have some resolution.
You know, when I saw that title from that case, it made me think, I should really find my title. I know I put it in a safe place, but I just can't quite remember where that safe place is. But it is a very important document, so...
Yeah, welcome to a senior moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look for it when you go home. People don't realize that being the owner of a car gives you a certain responsibility, and you're supposed to exercise judgment about who uses that car. And if you have a child who acts irresponsible, first rodeo for getting alcohol and going to sit at the cemetery and drink, then you have to be careful not to have your name attached to that. Because ultimately, your 17-year-old or your 16-year-old isn't responsible because they have nothing. Somebody has to be responsible for an innocent victim, and it will usually fall at the feet of the person who has the money to pay for it. So you have to be very cautious about lending your name to somebody else's potential irresponsibility. That to me is the takeaway.
Yeah, I agree.
And find your type.
Yeah.
Want justice? Go to judyjustice.tv.
This dog played with your dog?
I didn't know the severity of what was going on. The puppy is deceased.
You were told by the vet not to have your dog around other dogs. Do you understand that? Listen.
No, you listen to me.
I'm supposed to listen to him. Cut off his mic.
This is Judy Justice. Michelle Ordonez is suing her former friends, Cooper Curry and Ethan Clausen, for the cost of a puppy, vet bills, and emotional distress.
Court come to order. All rise.
Be seated, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 1168, Ordonez versus Curry Clausen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ordonez,
Yes.
you bought one dog from one of these gentlemen in 2019.
Yes.
From which gentleman?
I had actually bought it from both gentlemen. Their business, BHB, they presented it to me as an entity, so I paid Ethan and
Just a second.
Cooper.
Your complaint says that in September 2019, I bought a puppy named Dolly from Ethan.
Yes.
So can we keep it simple and consistent with what you wrote here?
It should have been BHB.
Well, it's not BHB. BHB is a corporation that cannot appear in court without a lawyer.
When they had sold me the dog, they had presented it as a real company. So I had...
Can I see the paperwork?
Yes. So when I received...
Don't say anything. Just give me the paperwork. Do you have her copy of her contract?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it.
They had withheld the papers, so I wasn't able to see anything.
Was Michelle Montfort?
It was my married name. I put O on top for Ordonez. But when I paid her off, I should have been given the UKC papers, which
Don't tell me shoulda, woulda, coulda. I don't care shoulda, woulda, coulda. This says that you paid $2,000 for the dog.
Yes.
And 50%
breeding rights.
Breeding rights.
Which meant that...
Just not really germane to this case, but it means that if you breed the dog, that I assume that whoever is Ethan to breed the dog once and she does, or you get 50% of the litter? What does that mean?
So it means I would split the stud fee with her, go half with it, and then I would get half of the litter. So let's say she had 10 puppies, I would get 5 and be able to sell them.
Well, you have to make that clear. That's
Okay.
that's not what this means to me. With regard to Dolly, and you still have Dolly.
Yes, I do.
Yes, we're going to get rid of your counterclaim because your counterclaim is for the return of a co-owned dog, right?
Yes.
You don't co-own this dog. This is not a co-ownership agreement, so that takes care of your counterclaim. There's nothing in this contract that suggests that you co-own the dog. Good. Now, Dolly is still alive.
Yes, gladly.
This is, your last name is?
Curry.
Curry. And are you partners?
Yes.
You also sold the plaintiff a second dog.
Yes.
That wasn't in 2019, that was in 2021.
Yes.
And you two became friends.
We've been friends for a long time.
How long?
I want to say since I got Dolly, maybe a couple months before that.
2019. That's
Yes.
a
I
year
was
and a
approached
half.
by the defendant to buy a dog as a friend.
You bought another dog.
Yes.
From him. Same breed.
Same breed.
And they're...
From the same kennel. It's actually his long
Now just tell me, what kind of dog is it?
Oh, it's an XL bully, American bully.
Is that a pit bull breed?
It's a pit bull mixed with a Staffordshire Terrier. So they're probably about this tall. And they get up to about 160, males probably like 170.
Okay. And so now you have two. You have one that's 2 years old and you have a new puppy.
Yes.
You also...
Well, the puppy is deceased.
I know that.
Yes, yes.
Yes. I know that the puppy is deceased. Well, that's what your case is about.
Yes.
You became friendly with Mr. Curry.
Both of them, actually.
Just try not to interrupt me again.
Sorry.
And you were moving. You were moving with whom?
With my children and my husband at the time.
How many children do you have?
2 sons.
And you had a husband?
Yes.
And so you were moving from where to where?
So we were moving actually into an apartment because our home was
Don't tell me because you were moving from where to where?
From my home to an apartment.
Were you renting the home?
At the time, yes, I was.
What month and year were you moving?
I moved in the beginning of August, the end of July.
What date were you planning on moving?
I was trying to move the 1st of August, but it so happened that I moved a little bit earlier.
Was Mr. Curry supposed to move into your house?
Yes.
Is that the arrangement that you...
Yes.
How much rent?
At the time, I think I told him $1,600.
How much?
She told me $1,800. I gave $900 upon my deposit, and the next...
When did you give her the $900 deposit?
About a week or two prior to me moving in.
There is no
On
contract.
On what date?
There is no contract. It was...
I didn't say contract. I never used the word contract.
Okay.
You said deposit.
Deposit, yes.
On what date were you supposed to be moving in?
I believe it was around the...
Don't say I won't believe.
26th of July was around approximately. Upon getting there, she was still there and her kids.
Now you also have one of these dogs.
I have 3.
All the same breed.
Yes, ma'am.
All American bullies.
Yes, ma'am.
You got yourself and all 3 dogs?
2 live with my mom and 1 live with me.
So you had one
Yeah, at the time.
that you were moving into the house with.
At the time, yes.
That's all I care about. What do I care about the rest of your life? I don't even care about this portion of your life, but it's my job. So you were moving into this house that she was vacating with 1 dog.
Yes.
That's an answer.
Okay.
I don't care how many cats or dogs or canaries your mother has.
Well, I own them.
I don't care.
That was your question, Your Honor.
I don't care. You had 1 dog that is relevant to this case that moved into her house.
Correct.
Sick dog.
Now, what did I tell you?
Sorry.
It's getting towards the end of the day. I'm getting testy. Your family may care about you. I, on the other hand, have an idiot who was given specific instructions not to have a dog around other dogs, and you specifically didn't listen.
Michelle Ordonez claims her friends, Cooper Curry and Ethan Clausen, owe for the cost of a puppy and vet bills.
Now, the dog was sick.
She had just been released from the vet, so she was no longer sick.
Just a second. The dog's name is?
Carmela.
What was wrong with her?
She had parvo.
When you say she had just been released from the vet, what was the name of the vet who cared for her?
Animal Kingdom.
Is that the regular vet?
Yes, ma'am.
How long was Carmela at the vet?
3 days.
When she left the vet, after 3 days, she had been diagnosed with parvo. What were her symptoms?
She was just groggy and not very dog-like. I don't know how to explain it. She wasn't loving. She was just sickly.
What was she like when you took her out of the vet?
The vet called me and...
Don't tell me what the vet told you.
Get her.
Don't tell. Fine.
Yes.
And if I called Animal Kingdom, you have that number?
Yes, ma'am.
They would tell me that the dog was released and had been tested and was free from parvo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Sarah, do this for me, please. Take that number, go in the robing room, call Animal Kingdom. Tell them that you're calling from Judge Judy Scheinlin. We're calling about Cooper Curry's dog, Carmela, that was released from Animal Kingdom end of July of this year. The dog had had parvo. Would you find out from the vet whether the dog was free from parvo when the dog was released from the vet?
Sure.
Would you do that? Thank you. And if you have any problem with them, let me know. Mr. Curry was supposed to move in to your home, and you were supposed to be out of your home.
We were in the process of moving, yes.
Mr. Curry came to your house with his dog. Did you have a conversation with him?
He actually came unannounced, and no, I did not have a conversation with him before he came.
Did he ever discuss with you that his dog had had parvo?
He told
Look at me.
No, he did
Did
not.
Did you?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Yes, he did. I'm going to ask you again. Did he ever discuss with you that his dog had parvo? Make sure I get an answer.
Right. No, he did not.
Okay. So you have two of the same kind of dogs, and you wouldn't have left your dog around a dog that looked sick.
Never.
That looked sick, correct?
Correct.
So his dog didn't look sick.
No.
Played with your dogs?
Yes. I even asked him to watch the dog.
I know that. Played with your dogs? Appeared healthy.
Correct.
And that was on what date? July what?
I want to say that from the 24th through the 25th.
So you had a full day to see them interacting and to see how his dog was behaving.
Correct.
And then you left. And you left him with your dogs.
Yes.
So you left him on the 25th with your two dogs. That was by arrangement.
Yes, I asked him permission if I could leave.
Leave the dogs. Fair. And when did you come and get the dogs?
The next day, within the next day, he had called me and said the dogs will not stop, excuse my language, and throwing up everywhere.
So that's the 26th.
Yes.
So you came back the 26th.
Correct. And I picked up both dogs.
She didn't, Your Honor.
When did she come back?
Her baby daddy picked him up, and it was about 2 or 3 days later.
Her baby what?
My baby's father.
Her baby's father.
My
came and picked him up.
ex-husband.
Okay. And neither did anyone else?
No. I had a housekeeper come and clean the house of all their throw up and poop while they were ignoring my calls.
That's funny. I had housekeeping.
Okay. Do you have your phone with you, which would show the messages on?
I actually got a new phone.
Everybody gets a new phone when I ask them for proof. I got a new phone. My phone fell in the pool. It fell in the toilet. The dog ate the phone. My husband smashed the phone. My wife threw it out of the car. Whenever you came, the next day, the day after, did you come personally or did you send the father of your baby?
So he was threatening.
Just answer
the father of my child went to go pick up the dogs.
Okay. And when you went to get the dogs, did you take them immediately to the vet?
I took them the next day.
Did you take them that day?
Because I didn't know the severity of what was going on. They looked groggy, but I didn't know exactly if they were sick or not. So I had to set up the appointment for the next.
Were both dogs fully inoculated?
At first, they were just acting like themselves, and then they just started deteriorating.
Listen to my question. Were both dogs fully inoculated, vaccinated? Had they received
Yes,
all of their shots?
They were.
You have
both of
proof
them.
from the vet from that?
From the vet, yes. I have her vet records and her vet bill.
Okay, now I want to see the records of her inoculation, the one that died. Now, don't give me all those things. I asked you for a specific piece of paper.
That's that's his vet records that I got from the vet.
No, that's not what I asked you for. I asked you for her records of vaccination.
That's the only records I had gotten.
Then you don't. The answer is that you don't have records of that puppy. That was the puppy that died. How old was the puppy?
When he died, he was about 14 weeks. He was 14 weeks.
Sarah?
Yeah, got a lot of information.
Okay.
So Carmela was diagnosed on 7/12/21 with not only parvo, but intestinal parasites as well. And she had a hospital stay until approximately the 14th in hospital, where she was treated and picked up. And then there was a revisit with a strict instruction to not be around any other dogs, as it was still a highly contagious disease. She revisited on August 23rd for her second vaccine.
August 23rd.
Of 2021.
That's his dog?
Yes.
August 23rd.
For a revisit after the hospital stay, where she received her second vaccine, which was a combo vaccine, including for parvo, with again another instruction not to be around any other puppies or dogs and not to purchase any more puppies and dogs until she was revisited. But there was no negative test result when she, with the second dose of the vaccine and the strict instruction to not be around other dogs.
Your Honor, I was homeless and she was allowing me
I don't care whether you were homeless, hapless, sad, snowflake. I don't care. It's irrelevant to me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Homeless
Maybe,
people can get
maybe, just a
arrested.
second. Hey, I'm going to throw your case out. Do you want me to do that?
She wasn't supposed to be.
She was there, fool.
She was not supposed
She
to
was
be
there.
there.
Listen,
No,
you don't
you
understand.
listen to
You
me.
don't
She
understand.
wasn't supposed
I'm
to be
supposed
there.
to listen to you.
Whoa.
I'm supposed to listen to him.
Yeah.
Cut off his mic.
Michelle Ordonez has accused her former friend, Cooper Curry, of bringing his sick puppy into her home and giving her dogs a serious illness.
Now, I don't know if you have family. Your family may care about you. I, on the other hand, do not. I, on the other hand, have an idiot who was given specific instructions not to have their dog around other dogs, and you specifically didn't listen. And whether you're homeless or not, who gives a rat's behind?
Well, I paid rent to move into her house, and I was supposed to be moving in, and she
I don't
wasn't
care
there.
if you move in. You're not going to give her dog parvo.
She wasn't supposed to be there.
It doesn't matter.
It does.
She was
supposed to be there.
there.
She wasn't supposed to be.
She was there.
She wasn't
fool.
supposed to be.
She was there, fool.
She was not supposed
She
to
was
be
there.
there.
Listen.
No,
You don't
you
understand.
listen to
You
me.
don't
She wasn't supposed
I'm
to be
supposed
there.
to listen to you.
Whoa.
I'm supposed to listen to him.
Yeah.
Cut off his mic. He's not only homeless, maybe a little high, maybe a little stupid. I'm not exactly sure which one.
All three.
Maybe all three. You were told by the vet not to have your dog around other dogs. Do you understand that? You understand that?
Yes.
And when you're told not to have your dog around other dogs and you're supposed to be a dog lover, then whether she's there or not there, if she's there, she's got her dogs there, you're not supposed to take your dog near her dogs. That's what you were told, that it's a highly contagious disease. Don't take your dog near other dogs. That's what you were told. Can I see your vet bills, please? You have anything else to do with this case anymore? I already dismissed your counterclaim. You can sit down.
So this is for each treatment for
I
per
just
dog.
want the total amount of your vet bills. How much did you
Either.
How much did you actually pay him of the $3,000? Show me.
We did a cash exchange, but on here it says, I have a text message that says I paid for the dog.
I'm looking. So is what you're telling me the entire vet bill for both dogs was $303?
No.
Well,
that was for each treatment for each dog.
You say for each dog. This doesn't say for each dog.
If you call the vet...
I'm not calling the vet. Your responsibility is to bring me proof.
Right.
This isn't proof. You're suing for vet bills. So far, the only vet bill I have is for $303.50. No, excuse me. It was $478.50. You paid $175. The balance is $303. Did you ever pay them?
No.
No. So you actually only paid $175. Now I'd like to see the text showing me that you paid him the $3,000 for the dog.
I have her papers, or his papers.
Stop talking. I asked you for a specific thing. I said, show me the text that you refer to when you say you paid him the $3,000 for the dog.
It's not specific on there, but he says that I own the dog.
I can read. You said you had a text. I'm reading it. You paid for her as a pet and co-own, but I'm primary owner. On papers, well, Ethan is technically, you're Ethan, right?
Yes.
So that's you who's writing this.
No, it's Cooper actually writing that.
I said.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You're Ethan, so it's Cooper writing this. So,
sorry.
Listen, try to shut up. Yeah, you breached the contract, laugh out loud. I've had my attorneys on this all day. Your attorneys, you're homeless and hapless. Okay. $3,000 plus $175, $3,175.
I'm also demanding her papers because I had paid for her and I never received her papers.
I'm not dealing with papers. First of all, you only need papers for a dog if you intend to breed her.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And you don't want anything further to do with them. Right?
Never.
So I would have her neutered.
That honestly, that was
a very good
my
idea.
goal.
That's what you say in here. She's a pet and I want to. So that's what I would do. So you don't need papers for her. $3,175. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Court is adjourned.
She knew my dog had parvo. She knew my dog wasn't supposed to be around dogs. She just lied to the judge about that.
I would have never let him in my home if I knew he had parvo, or the dog had parvo.
By letting her part.
You know, I opened my doors to him and he opened his parvo disease onto my animals.
She never came through to get the dog. I don't know why she said 1 to 2 days because it was more like 3 to 4.
You know, justice is going to come either way. If it's not from me, it's from someone else.
The vet was very helpful on the phone. I asked her if he took the dog discharged with a negative test, and she said, well, that's not exactly how that works, and explained to me how she gave strict instructions on both occasions that he brought in the dog to not have that dog be around any other dogs because it's highly contagious. And not only that, but also she said not to purchase any new dogs for him to acquire any more dogs due to the contagious nature of the disease. So, very helpful.
You know, sometimes in the past I would have made that call myself. I have to tell you, it was delightful for you to get that information and be able to convey it to me. And decisive, actually.
Yeah.
Very decisive. You know, one would think if you're discharged from a vet's office that you're okay, but clearly not.
Just discharged from the hospital stay that she was in.
The dog was in the hospital.
She said around 2 or 3 days, but that it was a fairly young dog, so that she recovered quite quickly from her symptoms. However, that did not take away from the contagious nature of the disease.
Sad. Well, one puppy died. If you can't take care of yourself, don't get a 160-pound dog.
Good advice.
Are you a victim of a scam? Go to judyjustice.tv
You were looking for a place to live. He rents rooms.
I got kicked out.
Did you tell him to leave?
Yes.
He said, "Get out of my house," and yelled at me, and I did not feel safe.
My roommates were ready to kill him.
Did you call the police?
Yes, I did.
He looks like he was high as a kite on this video.
Boy.
This is Judy Justice. Alex Ziegler is suing his former landlord, Randy Simpson, for motorcycle damages and a wrongful eviction.
Court come to order?
Have a seat, please.
Case number 1180, Ziegler versus Simpson.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Ziegler, this is what I put together from your complaint. You were looking for a place to live. You had no place to live.
Yes.
Mr. Simpson has a house, and in that house, he rents rooms. He has a lot of tenants. It's a house that you own, is that correct?
Yes.
And you've owned it for how long, sir?
30 years.
Okay. Now, he agreed to rent you a space. He didn't have a bedroom, but rented you a space, at least temporarily, at the beginning of July.
Yes, July 1st.
And you lived there for approximately 4 weeks.
I got kicked out on August 6th.
So 5 weeks.
Yes.
You claim two things, that he, A, illegally evicted you, so you want a lot of money for that. And your second cause of action is that you drive a motorcycle, and that Mr. Simpson allowed one of the other tenants, someone whose name is Todd, that would be you, to drive his truck. And Todd knocked over your bike that was parked behind the truck.
Correct.
Causing some damage to the bike. Now, you lived in the house for 5 weeks, and would you stand up? Your first name is Todd. What's your last name?
Todd Moberly.
Mr. Moberly, you acknowledge that you knocked over the motorcycle. The defense to that Mr. Simpson is raising is that Mr. Ziegler had parked his motorcycle behind the truck, but parked it on the sidewalk instead of parking it someplace else. And I assume you have photographs of that, Mr. Simpson. I assume you have photographs of that.
Driveway from
Did you? So I'm going to ask Mr. Ziegler. What time of the day did this happen on August 6th?
This happened late at night, probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Where had you been?
No,
that's a question.
And came back.
Just a second. You took your motorcycle. Where had your motorcycle been parked?
So the driveway would...
Where had your motorcycle been parked before you left?
Right behind the Tahoe.
Then you moved it.
I never moved the motorcycle, no.
You said this incident happened at 8:30. I want you to try to concentrate, Mr. Ziegler. I said, where were you before this incident happened at 8:30? You said, I went to the store for 5 minutes. Before you went to the store, where was the motorcycle parked?
Behind the Tahoe, on the driveway, in the driveway.
And then when you came back from the store, you parked in the same place.
I actually drove my car to the store, not my bike. And I left my bike behind the Tahoe.
Where was your car parked?
On the side of the street, since the driveway was completely full.
So your car was parked in the street, in a legal parking space?
Yes.
You left the bike where it was. You took the car from a legal parking space because the driveway was full. You went to the store for 5 minutes, 8:30, then you came back. Did you repark your car?
No, I parked it still on the side of the street where I had it before. Where I always parked it.
Okay. And you went to the store to get what?
To get a Gatorade.
When you came home from getting the Gatorade, you just went to the store to get one Gatorade?
Yes, because I was
you were thirsty. When you came home, what did you see?
I saw my bike on the ground and Todd trying to pick it up.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Did you pick the bike up?
I tried to. It was a little heavy, and so they came.
Did you pick the bike up?
Yes.
What did you do with it?
I moved it away from the back, and I put it kind of in the garage, in the little space in the garage.
How did you get it there?
I picked the bike up myself and brought it into the garage. I didn't drive it or anything.
Just a second. You picked it up and you walked it into the garage?
Yes.
Just by your own curiosity, why would you park your bike behind Tahoe if there was space in the garage?
Because I went to the store real quick and I left my...
What does that have to do with the bike? You took your car to the store. You said your bike had been parked behind the Tahoe because the driveway was full.
Yeah.
But you just said that you picked up the bike and you walked it into a space in the garage. My question to you is, if there was a space in the garage, why would you park it behind the Tahoe?
Because I was going to go for another bike ride again later in the day.
Later on in the day, it was 8:30 at night. When were you going to go for another bike ride?
Well, because the cars were super close together and there's not, it's kind of hard to maneuver it around those spaces.
After you moved the bike, Mr. Ziegler, from behind the Tahoe.
Yes, I did.
Why?
To get evidence that it happened and everything, and because that he told me that later on he first admitted that he would...
No, just a second. Just a second. So you had a conversation with Todd. He couldn't pick the bike up. He says it was too heavy. You picked it up and you took it into the space. Did you have a conversation with him?
Yes.
Tell me about the conversation that you had at 8:30 at night after you came home from getting a Gatorade.
So first he was telling me that, he's responsible for it.
No. You said to him, what happened? So far I'm not following your whole story.
Yes.
You do understand that?
Yes.
Okay. He looks like he was high as a kite on this video. And if you allowed him access to that car, you're responsible for this damage.
And later today,
When your body slammed into her car, it created a dent in the car.
That is correct.
Causing damage to the car. That's why the plaintiff is here.
Alex Ziegler claims his former landlord, Randy Simpson, owes for motorcycle damages and the cost of a wrongful eviction.
So you say to him what happened. He said, I didn't see your bike behind the Tahoe because it was dark, right? Is that what he said?
Yes.
I assume that that's what he said. And you said to him, I'm still not figuring out why the police were called.
Okay, because later on he said...
Later on when?
About 20 minutes after this happened, he said, I will not pay for the bike. And
Just a second. So now you're inside the house. You've had your Gatorade. Your bike is in the garage. Your car is parked on the street. You have another conversation with him in the house. Tell me what, you were in the living room, where were you?
so I was actually outside looking at the bike, looking at the damages, assessing how much the damages would be. And I told him how much it would be.
Well, what did you tell him it would be?
I said it would be roughly, a rough estimate would be around $1,000.
Okay, so you said it'll cost about $1,000 to fix it. And what did he say?
He said, well, you shouldn't have parked the bike behind there, so I don't owe you anything. And
Okay.
yeah, that's it. But
You shouldn't have
previously
parked-
I let
you
him
should-
know.
Just a second.
Okay.
So you said you shouldn't have parked the bike back there. I don't owe you anything. Okay, well, that's a lawsuit.
Yes.
And you called the police. Can I see the police report that you filed?
Yes. I have a video, too, of the whole thing going down as well, if you want to see some clips on my phone.
Tell me what they're of.
Okay, they're of him admitting to hitting the bike.
He admitted he hit the bike.
Yes, and it's that my bike was behind the Tahoe.
You have that on your phone?
Yes.
That I'd like to
Definitely.
see. And I'd like to see the police report, Kevin.
So it's these two, this one and this one. That's the first one. And then the police report, there.
Took place in the driveway. That's what it says, remarks. Took place in the driveway. I'd like to see.
Not much. He told me, he asked me if I was going anywhere. At the time, I didn't really think of anything I needed to go. Then he left. He said he was going to be back in 2 minutes. And I forgot. He told me his bike was parked in the back of my...
Got it. Okay, so the problem, Mr. Simpson, is it's your car. You got the insurance.
Yes.
He looks like he was high as a kite on this video. And if you allowed him access to that car, you're responsible for this damage.
Probably was.
You were? Well, he probably was, and you are. So you have an estimate to fix the bike?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. Have you had it fixed?
Yes, it got done with the shop a couple days ago.
Well, this is the estimate. How much was it?
That's the final. I have a text message that shows it.
Just tell me what the final invoice
It was the 1134.
Now your case is for unlawful eviction.
Yes.
After this incident, the police were called, and I want you to tell me your version of what happened with Mr. Simpson.
So after the police were called, I went inside the house, going towards my room, where his room's right across the hall from mine. And so he said, Alec, come step in my room. And so I did. And he said, in my 30 years of living here, I've never had someone call the police. And he said, get out of my house, and yelled at me. And I did not feel safe. And that's when I called my buddy Jaden and let him know the incident and asked if I could spend the night at his house.
After the incident, he's going towards his room. You call him into your room.
This is the third time Mr. Ziegler's called the police to my house.
In the 5 weeks he's living there?
Yeah. And my roommates were ready to kill him.
Okay.
So I have some written testimony.
No.
Yeah.
I don't read written testimony from people who
Yeah,
aren't
I understand.
Here. Okay. Did you tell him to leave?
Yes.
And you went to stay with a friend?
Yes.
You moved in on the 1st. You were paying a couple of $100, but then you moved into a room for $400 a month.
Yes.
Correct? On what day in July did you start to pay $400 a month?
So, well, it was $200, the verbal agreement with Randy, but at the end, I actually asked telling me he should be charging $400 instead of $200, but our agreement was $200.
Did he give you any money back for August?
He did not.
Did you pay August's rent?
Yes.
How much did you pay?
$200.
You moved from a loft area to a room.
Yes.
That's why he was increasing your rent to $400. Where are you living now, Mr. Ziegler?
I'm living in Lehigh. I have my own place in an apartment.
And how much was your rent there?
It was $700.
So it was much more money.
Yes.
Stayed by yourself?
Yes.
Mr. Simpson, you have a lot of people living in your house.
Yes.
Clearly, you are responsible for Mr. Ziegler's damage to his motorcycle because it's your car and you allowed somebody who lives with you to drive that car who acknowledges that he forgot that he was told, don't move the truck because my motorcycle is there. He acknowledges it on tape. He acknowledges it, Mr. Simpson, on tape. And it's your car. So you're responsible for the damage. And I believe you're also responsible for his month's rent at this new place. You're living in another place now that you like better?
Yes.
Okay. I'm giving you the $700 that you paid in rent for the month because he should have given you 30 days notice. 4, 3, 8, 1834. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Sure. I was in a Tahoe, and the motorcycle sits lower than the back window of the Tahoe.
It's crazy. It's nuts.
I honestly didn't see it, and you parked it on the sidewalk.
I'm glad I am out of there.
You know, the more cases we do like this, the more I appreciate your wisdom to always live alone if you can, because problems arise all the time.
Yeah, sometimes it's lonely, but a lot less drama.
Case number 1171, Crockham versus Gonzalez. Please step forward.
Jocelyn Crockham is suing her neighbor, Dominic Costales, for car damages after Dominic slipped and fell into her car.
I'm going to start with you, Mr. Gonzalez, because there are certain things that are not disputed in this case. Your body slammed in to the plaintiff's parked car.
That's correct.
Okie dokie. That's an interesting defense. I mean, it's some sort of a defense. It doesn't fly here as a defense, but it's a defense.
Jocelyn Crockham claims her neighbor, Dominic Costales, owes for car damages. Dominic says he fell and hit her car, but only because it was illegally parked.
She wasn't in the car. It created a dent in the car,
That is correct.
causing damage to the car. That's why the plaintiff is here.
That's correct.
This happened on what date?
August 21st, 2020.
2020.
Correct.
Do you have a photograph of the damage to the car?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. a dent. What year car is this?
2013.
What kind?
Dodge Challenger.
Have you had it for long?
About 4 years.
You still have it?
Yes.
You were in a complex where you live.
Yes.
And according to what I read, you were in the pool area?
Correct.
Anybody with you?
My children and a few other tenants.
What time of the day?
Around 4:30.
And what were you doing in the complex?
I'm groundskeeper and manager of the complex.
What were you doing at 4:30?
I opened my door and I was dog watching.
You opened the door
Yeah.
of your own apartment?
Yes, ma'am. And the puppy got out. At the time of the puppy got out and...
Whose puppy?
My mom's.
Does your mother live with you?
No, she does not.
So you were puppy sitting?
Puppy sitting.
For how long?
Just for 2 days.
Where was your mother?
She was in Nevada, Las Vegas.
How old is the puppy?
She was at the time about 4 months, 3 months.
Well, there's a difference between 2 and
4 months.
What kind of dog?
Siberian Husky.
So a big puppy?
Yeah, medium size, yeah.
Puppy got out and you were chasing the puppy?
Yeah,
All around the complex?
kind of, yeah. Pretty fast.
And it was at that time that you slammed into the plaintiff's car?
Yes.
And now, I'm going to ask you to tell me why you think that you're not responsible for this damage. I've read it, but I want you to tell me.
Okay, well, where she was parked at the time is a fire lane where you're not supposed to park at. And there's been photographs of her been tagged not to park there. And when I went to chase the puppy, I slipped on the gravel and the rocks next to the car. And that's when my body went into the car accidentally and damaged it. I don't dispute that I did not do that. I did that part. But the part is the fact that where she was parked at, if her car wasn't there in the first place, it would have never happened.
That's what I read as your defense. So your defense was the car was parked in the wrong place. And if it had not been parked there, you would have slipped and fallen, but you would have fallen on the ground instead.
Yes.
And not damaged her car.
Absolutely right.
Okie dokie. That's an interesting defense. I mean, it's some sort of a defense. It doesn't fly here as a defense, but it's a defense. The proximate cause of her car becoming damaged was because you negligently let the puppy out of the apartment. That was the reason. You know, if the puppy ran out into the street and ran in front of a car, and the car swerved and hit a child who was crossing in the middle of the street, you would say that's not my fault because the child was crossing in the middle of the street. If the child wasn't crossing in the middle of the street, he wouldn't have gotten hurt. You negligently let the dog out. It was what we call an accident. It wasn't an on purpose, but it was your fault. More than her fault. It was your fault. If you hadn't let the dog out, and if her car was parked in the fire lane, she could have gotten a ticket. She could have gotten towed, but she wouldn't have had a dent in her car. Now, can I see an estimate for the damage, please? Did you try to discuss with the defendant paying for the damage?
Yes, I did.
And what happened?
He admitted to damaging the car and he said he would pay for the damages.
He did?
Yes.
Did you ever tell her you would pay for the damages?
Well, first of all, she didn't approach me with the estimate of her car. Her boyfriend at the time, or her husband at the time, or still at the time, came to my door an estimate of $500. And from what I'm hearing now is $2,500. So I don't know how that jumped up to that.
I don't know either. Was the original estimate that you had $500?
Yes. It was originally $500 because I was just like a quick look at it.
Whose quick look at it?
The first estimate that we obtained.
Well, if you got a first estimate of $500, why don't I have that?
Because that shop is not open anymore.
There's a big difference between $500 and what you're suing him for, which is $2,500. Would you look up the value of it? 2013, what kind of car?
Dodge Challenger.
Dodge Challenger. You have a full view of the car? Rather than just this what you're showing me?
No, I don't have that printed out.
So based upon a 100,000 mile estimate, it's 10,000 to 13,000.
Did you have it fixed? When we hesitate, we have a problem. Do you understand? Did you have it fixed?
No.
Why?
I didn't want my insurance company to pay for it because I didn't want my premiums and monthly costs to go up.
Well, that's a problem. Do you have a deductible?
Yes.
How much is your deductible?
$1,000.
That's what you have insurance for. And the accident was not your fault. Your premium shouldn't go up at all. You better be able to get the car fixed for $1,000 because that's all you're getting from the defendant. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Court is adjourned.
I'm satisfied. I'll get something out of it.
I actually don't remember. It's like a football catch or tackling somebody. It's pretty tough.
Time to get my car fixed.
My shoulder hit that and I got a big bruise on it.
Is it more your fault than my fault? Because if so, you take responsibility and accountability, even in an accident, even in something that, like you said, not on purpose, but accidents happen. You have to be responsible for that.
That's why they call it an accident, not an on purpose.
Want justice? Go to judyjustice.tv.